Welcome to Endless Love Story. Before we dive into one of history's most heartbreaking love tales, please like this video if you believe in the power of true love. Share it with someone who needs to hear the story, and don't forget to subscribe for more legendary love stories. Trust me, you must watch until the very end. This story will leave you breathless and believing in love's eternal power. In the golden corridors of the Mughal Empire, where marble gleamed like captured moonlight and jasmine perfumed the evening air, a love story unfolded that would echo through centuries. This is the tale of Prince Salim, heir to the mighty throne of Akbar the Great, and Anarkali, a court dancer whose beauty could stop time itself. Prince Salim was not merely royal blood flowing through mortal veins. He was poetry in human form. At 25, he possessed the rare combination of a warrior's strength and a poet's soul. His dark eyes held the depth of ancient wisdom, yet sparkled with youthful passion. Unlike other princes drunk on power, Salim championed the downtrodden, spent hours listening to his subjects' grievances, and believed that true nobility came from serving others. He was the kind of man who made even his enemies respect him, who could command armies with a whisper and heal hearts with a smile. But on that fateful evening in 1599, as the court gathered for the Festival of Roses, Salim's destiny would be rewritten by a single glance. The grand Durbar Hall sparkled with 1,000 oil lamps, their flames dancing like captured stars. Nobles from across the empire had gathered, their silk and jewels creating a kaleidoscope of opulence. Emperor Akbar sat on his peacock throne, surveying his kingdom with satisfaction. But Prince Salim barely noticed the grandeur. His mind was elsewhere, heavy with the weight of impending political marriages and royal duties that felt like golden chains. Then she appeared. Anarkali glided into the hall like a vision from paradise itself. Her name meant pomegranate blossom, and never had a name been more perfectly chosen. She wore emerald silk that flowed like water around her graceful form, and silver bells at her ankles sang soft melodies with each step. Her hair cascaded in dark waves adorned with white jasmine, and her eyes, those luminous, expressive eyes, held mysteries deeper than the Arabian Sea. But it wasn't her beauty that stopped Salim's heart. It was the way she moved, with the dignity of a queen despite being born to humble beginnings, with grace that spoke of inner strength rather than mere training. When she began to dance, the entire court fell silent, mesmerized by her artistry that transcended mere entertainment and became pure expression of the soul. If this story is already capturing your heart, please like and share. And keep watching because the most beautiful moments are yet to come. As Anarkali danced, her eyes met Salim's across the crowded hall. In that instant, the world around them disappeared. Time stood still. The music faded. All that existed was the electric connection between two souls recognizing their other half. Salim felt his carefully constructed world of duty and destiny crumble and rebuild itself around this single, perfect moment. For Anarkali, seeing Prince Salim was like watching the sun rise for the first time. She had heard stories of his kindness, his justice, his refusal to bow to cruelty even when it meant defying court traditions. But nothing had prepared her for the reality of his presence. The way his eyes held compassion instead of lust, respect instead of possession. In a world where powerful men saw her as entertainment, Prince Salim saw her as equals see each other. After her performance, as nobles showered her with gold coins and hollow praises, Salim approached quietly. While others demanded attention, he simply said, "Your dance told a story of longing. May I know its meaning?" Anarkali's heart raced. No one had ever asked about the meaning behind her art. It is the story of a caged bird, Your Highness, who dreams of freedom, not to escape, but to choose where to build her nest. Salim smiled, not the practiced smile of royalty, but something genuine and warm. And if that bird were offered freedom, what would she choose? She would choose to soar with the one who saw her as more than her cage, Anarkali replied, her voice barely a whisper. That night began a secret courtship that would span 3 years. They met in hidden alcoves of the palace gardens, where moonlight filtered through marble latte work and the fountain's gentle splash masked their whispered conversations. Salim would bring her books of poetry, and she would share stories from her childhood in the streets of Lahore. He taught her about statecraft and philosophy. She taught him about the struggles of common people that no courtier dared discuss. Their love grew like a rare orchid, slowly, carefully, but with breathtaking beauty. Salim discovered that Anarkali's mind was as captivating as her beauty. She could debate philosophy with scholars, compose poetry that moved listeners to tears, and speak 4 languages fluently. Despite her humble origins, she possessed wisdom that came from experiencing life's harsh realities. Anarkali, in turn, fell in love with Salim's authenticity. Away from the court's pageantry, he was wonderfully human, laughing at her jokes, sharing his fears about the empire's future, expressing doubts about whether he was worthy of the throne. She loved how he remembered the names of every servant, how he quietly arranged for the education of poor children, how he wrestled with moral dilemmas that other princes would dismiss without thought. Don't forget to subscribe to Endless Love Story. This tale is about to take a dramatic turn that will leave you speechless. For 3 blissful years, they existed in their secret paradise. Salim would sneak away from state dinners to spend hours talking with Anarkali about everything and nothing. She would embroider poems onto silk scarves that he carried into battle as talismans. Their love was passionate yet pure, desperate yet patient, impossible yet absolutely real. But love, no matter how pure, cannot remain hidden forever in a world built on political alliances and imperial ambitions. The discovery came during the spring festival of Holi, when colors filled the air like liquid joy. Salim and Anarkali, caught up in the celebration's infectious happiness, forgot to be careful. Emperor Akbar himself witnessed his heir playfully applying color to a court dancer's cheeks, saw the look of absolute devotion in his son's eyes, and understood immediately that this was no mere flirtation. That night, Akbar summoned his son to the throne room. The emperor's face was carved from stone, his voice cold as winter mountains. You forget yourself, Salim. You forget your duty, your destiny, your blood. Father, I forget nothing. I simply choose love over politics. Love! Akbar's voice rose like thunder. You would sacrifice an empire for a dancing girl? You would throw away alliances with Rajputana, with the Deccan sultans for a moment's passion. This is not passion, father. This is love. The kind of love you shared with my mother before duty demanded you take other wives. The comparison struck deep. Akbar had indeed loved Salim's mother above all others, but he was emperor first, man second. I will not allow you to destroy everything I have built. You will marry the Rajput Princess Mamati next month. This foolishness ends now. And if I refuse... Akbar's eyes grew dangerous. Then you are no son of mine. And she will face the consequences of bewitching a prince. Keep watching. The most heartbreaking twist is about to unfold, and you won't believe how this love story reaches its climactic moment. Salim rushed to warn Anarkali, but found her chambers empty. Panicked, he searched the palace until a sympathetic servant whispered that she had been arrested on charges of seducing the crown prince, a crime punishable by death. The trial was a mockery. Anarkali stood before the court with quiet dignity, refusing to deny her love or beg for mercy. When asked if she had indeed bewitched Prince Salim, She replied with devastating honesty. Your Majesty, if loving someone with complete devotion, if inspiring them to be their best self, if sharing their dreams and fears, if this is witchcraft, then yes, I am guilty. But I cast no spell except the ancient magic of seeing the man behind the crown and loving him not for his power, but for his heart. Even Akbar's courtiers were moved by her words, but the emperor's decision was final. Anarkali would be entombed alive in a wall of the palace. Buried alive, a punishment reserved for the gravest crimes against the crown. Salim threw himself at his father's feet. Take my life instead! She is innocent of everything except loving me. She will die, Akbar declared, and you will watch, so you remember the cost of defying your emperor. But love, true love, finds a way even in the darkest hour. That night, as Anarkali awaited her terrible fate, a loyal guard slipped her a message written in Salim's hand. Trust me, my beloved! Death is not the end of our story. The next morning, as the court gathered to witness the execution, Anarkali was led to a wall in the palace courtyard. She looked directly at Salim, smiled with infinite tenderness, and mouthed the words, "Wait for me." As the bricks rose around her, sealing her fate, she began to sing, a haunting melody about eternal love that transcended mortal boundaries. Her voice grew fainter as the wall grew higher, until finally there was only silence. Salim collapsed, his heart shattered into pieces that would never fully heal. But here comes the twist that history whispered but never confirmed. This is the moment you've been waiting for. Don't stop watching now. What the court didn't know was that Salim had bribed the chief mason. Behind the wall lay not death, but a secret passage leading to underground tunnels that connected to the river. A loyal servant waited with a boat, supplies, and documents identifying Anarkali as a merchant's widow from distant Bengal. The woman who was entombed was already dead, a plague victim whose body Salim's allies had secretly substituted in the darkness before dawn. Anarkali's death song was actually a signal to her rescuers that she was safely through the passage. For the world, Anarkali died that day. For Salim, she simply disappeared into legend, waiting for the day when he could join her. Salim became Emperor Jahangir 4 years later, after Akbar's death. His first royal decree was the construction of a magnificent tomb for the dancer who taught a prince the true meaning of love. But those closest to him noticed that he never remarried for love, never forgot to visit that tomb on the anniversary of her death, and sometimes smiled at letters that arrived with no return address. Historical records show that Emperor Jahangir made several secret journeys to Bengal throughout his reign, always alone, always returning with renewed vigor and mysterious contentment. Some say that in a small village near the Ganges, there lived a woman of extraordinary beauty who ran a school for orphan children, funded by anonymous donations that arrived like clockwork. Local legends spoke of her mysterious patron, a man who visited once each year, staying exactly 7 days, during which the woman's face would glow with happiness that illuminated her entire being. The truth died with them, but love became immortal. If this story moved your heart, please like this video and share it with everyone who believes in love's power to transcend, even death itself. Subscribe to Endless Love Story for more legendary tales that prove love never truly dies. When Jahangir died in 1627, his final words were reportedly Anarkali, and in that distant Bengali village, an aging woman of ethereal beauty was found peacefully deceased in her garden, clutching a faded silk scarf embroidered with poetry, smiling as if she had just heard the most beautiful news. Their bodies lie in different tombs, separated by hundreds of miles. but their souls dance together in the eternal ballroom of legendary love, proving that some stories are too beautiful for death to end. This is why we call it Endless Love Story, because true love writes its own happy ending, even when the world tries to write tragedy. Thank you for watching until the very end. Your heart understood what history could only whisper.